So ever since the announcement of The Last of Us Part 1, it's been the center and focus of a lot of controversy because there's a lot of people that are in several camps. One camp is there's no point in buying it because there's nothing new. It's just a simple asset upgrade. And the other camp is, well, it's too expensive for taking things out of the game like the multiplayer and such. And then the other camp is like, hey, don't buy it if you don't want it. You know, you didn't complain about Zelda, Skyward Sword, or any of the other games that are remade and re-released at full price, so why complain about this just because you have an agenda against Naughty Dog? And when it comes to where I fit into this whole camp of one of these three, I don't fit into any of them because personally, I like The Last of Us Part 1. And I know that's going to be a controversial statement and one that's going to draw a lot of ire because hell, when I reviewed The Last of Us Part 2, I got a lot of hate for just saying I enjoyed the mechanics of the game because taboo to say I enjoy a Naughty Dog game since, you know, the gaming public tends to hate him. But we're here today to talk about The Last of Us Part 1. So before we dive fully into the review, I want to give a special thank you and shout out to Naughty Dog and Sony for providing a review copy of The Last of Us Part 1 for PlayStation 5. Now, as I said in the intro, I was not paid, and here's the thing, for this narrative, and I'm putting this out, this is a full disclaimer, anyone who thinks that anyone who reviews a game or any product is getting paid, that's a very false narrative. And if I'm getting paid, y'all need to show me where the checks are because I could use some money in my bank account. Anyways, we're going to be talking about The Last of Us Part 1, what I think about it, what are the ups, the downs, all that in between, and so much more. Before we do all that, if you enjoy the content I put out, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and ding the notification bell. That way you can stay up to date on all the content that comes out from this channel. Also, make sure you follow me on social media. Links for everything is going to be down in the description down below. If you want to pick up a copy of the game, also, Amazon affiliate link will be in the description below, as well as a Best Buy affiliate link. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this review. Okay, so I'm really going to say this. The Last of Us Part 1, this is one game I was both looking forward to covering and then dreading all at the same time due to the fact that there's so much hate for not only this remake, but the franchise and developers over at Naughty Dog. Internet discourse when it comes to video games and generally anything these days can become rather toxic and can lead to some outrageous interactions. For me, personally, I play and review games that I'm legitimately interested in, and when I was made aware of the remake of the 2013 and critically acclaimed Last of Us, I was excited to dive into the game. We're going to go ahead and talk about the story of The Last of Us, which centers around Joel Miller and Ellie Williams as they strive to survive the cordyceps brain infection, also known as CBI, that swept the world and devastated humanity. In 2013, Joel and his daughter Sarah and brother Tommy were living in Austin, Texas during the beginning of the outbreak, which leads to them trying to escape Austin, Texas. During their escape, Sarah is shot and killed by a military soldier, leaving only Tommy and Joel alive. Fast forward 20 years to 2033, and we're introduced to a 51-year-old Joel and his partner Tess, as they are tasked with escorting a 14-year-old Ellie to a Firefly's compound. The events that occur on this journey ultimately change their lives and deepen their bond forever. Alright, so we talked about the story, and this is the part where you probably are more interested because, you know, this remake has been under a lot of scrutiny and primarily from people who haven't even played the game, as many are claiming that this is just a simple asset upgrade of the remastered version of the PlayStation 4 version from 2014, when it really is not at all. Like the remake of Demon's Souls that was rebuilt from the ground up by Bluepoint Games, The Last of Us Part 1 is also rebuilt from the ground up. Many of the new additions are all new character models, with many of them looking a lot older than the previous models, such as Tess, Ellie, and Joel, etc., along with various graphical upgrades showcasing skin stretching and blemishing, which go a long way in bringing realism to the character interactions, especially when there are very emotional scenes, which brings the characters to life in ways that they weren't previously brought to life. There are new physics added which carry over from the sequel and have every character and item in the environment reacting realistically in a way that the original and remaster never could. Enemy AI has been tweaked to react more realistically and smarter to what you do. However, I find that the enemy AI is only mildly better than the original and isn't that substantial of a leap that it is promoted to be. So if you were expecting this to be like a astronomical leap when it comes to enemy AI, I'm just gonna keep it $150. It's not. It's really marginally better at best. At worst, it's not at all better. So yeah, at least that's from my personal experience, and also with the pre and post day one patch. So yeah, it may be down the road it'll get better, but as of right now, it's not. The game has two visual modes that you can toggle between, being a resolution mode and a performance mode. Resolution mode runs the game in a native 4K at 30 frames per second, with performance mode running the game at checkerboard 4K, or rather it's 1440p upscale, at 60 frames per second, while also supporting VRR. With the game in graphics mode, I found that it can be absolutely stunning on my 4K 144Hz monitor, especially with HDR turned on, as everything from the characters and flora and fauna look absolutely stunning. My only problem with this mode is that the 30 frames per second just isn't the way I want to experience this game, especially after getting used to playing games at 60 frames per second and higher, so this just makes me want the PC version to come out sooner. The performance mode is my preferred way to play the game, as I love being able to experience this game with VRR turned on. And you know, visually it may not be as stunning as the graphics mode, however it still looks really darn good, and with the bloom effects and HDR lighting, you know, this game just looks so fine-tuned with this mode. It just looks awesome overall. The Last of Us Part 1 takes advantage of the DualSense controller's haptic triggers and feedback, making every shot of a gun, pull of a string bow, punch, and more feel that much more impactful. Given the new physics used, gunplay will take a little bit of getting used to, as the new physics engine has everything feeling extra weighty compared to the original, which makes skirmishes feel that much more intense. The last thing I want to bring up are all the accessibility options, as that seems to be something that is entirely overlooked by the vast majority of the game community. The accessibility options available in this game are honestly some of the very best I've seen in any game, as they truly allow anyone who hasn't had the chance to experience this modern masterpiece to be able to dive right into it, regardless of their impairments, be they blind, deaf, or otherwise. It's because of the attention to detail when it comes to the accessibility options that I have to give a lot of credit to the team at Naughty Dog. They allow you to change nearly every aspect of the game to tailor the experience so that anyone can play. Granted, this could also be used to skip whole sections of the game, as you can turn off certain things such as enemies being able to grab you. You can make it so that you really don't have to deal with any of the battle encounters, or you know, it's basically you're editing the code of the game with a lot of the accessibility options. But honestly, who am I to tell someone how they should experience a game? These features are there because they help some people get more immersed in it. Some people just want an interactive movie, and hell, this is what it's gonna provide. So is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? That's not for me to decide. It's there. But the fact that there are options that allow people who are deaf and who are blind to be able to experience this masterpiece, that is something I can get behind. And I know this is something I've seen other people like Dreamcast Guy and others say, well, why would I want these features? Why is this necessary? Why is this? I would never use that. You're right. You're damn skippy right. You wouldn't use that. But somebody who has accessibility issues, who has vision impairments and auditory impairments, they would use these. As well as other people who just want to make the game easier. But they're there for those who need to use them. And if they're not for you, that's fine. It doesn't have to be for you, but it's there, and hey, that's not a bad thing. So with all the upgrades and visual fidelity, what are some of the downsides of this version of the game? Well, there are some bugs present in this version of the game that are not in the original or the remastered versions, such as the physics engine going wonky at times. You know, the original game was built on Unreal Engine 3, while this is built on a newer custom engine. And sometimes shots may not always register like they should, such as headshots for instance. And there were times when I was in stealth areas where I should have been seen. For some reason I wasn't at all. And you know, all of these issues can be fixed with a patch, and many have been addressed with the day one patch, so consider these to be minor annoyances. The only omission in this game is the multiplayer mode, which was available in the original and the remaster, which is apparently being retooled to be released later on as a separate game. Now, as someone who didn't invest much time, if at all, into that mode in either of the two previous versions, I can see some people being upset with it, but I also understand that it would take a lot of time to completely rebuild that mode in the new engine, as it's not a mere asset upgrade. Lastly, there's the price of this game being $70, which seems to be a major point of contention for a lot of gamers, which to me, that's rather odd given that we just got a fully remade Demon's Souls at full price, and even the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which was given an HD port to the Nintendo Switch at full price, and it still is full price. And these vocal gamers that are anti-Last of Us Part 1, they didn't become as vocal as they are about the prices of those games in comparison to the price of this one. So to me, this is purely selective outrage and is nonsensical. Should the game be $70? That's not for me to decide, nor dictate to a developer what they should or shouldn't charge for the work that they put into their game. And, you know, given that this was built from the ground up and isn't an asset upgrade, means a lot of work went into making this game. And I appreciate what was done here. I've never been a gamer who complains about the price of a game, as even when I wasn't reviewing them and getting review copies, I was still buying them. And I still do buy games I get review copies from to just support the developers, because if I want to play a game, then I buy it and nothing will stop me. I don't ever complain about, oh, this is too expensive. If I want it, I'm gonna go out and get it. I never shop for others with my own wallet, so if you see a game you want, then get it. Or if you are price conscious, then wait for a sale, if that's what you want to do. But for all the nonsense on social media from loudmouths telling others what to do and what to buy, and, constantly going on every post and tweet and, promotion for The Last of Us Part 1 and just bitching and whining and crying, it's getting annoying to me. If it's not for you, then don't buy it. Vote with your wallet. It's that simple. I don't understand this compulsive nature that people have when they don't like something. They need to continuously talk about it over and over and over. At that point, I'm wondering, is it something you really don't want, or are you waiting for it to either be A, given to you for free, or B, at a discounted price because you're ultimately going to buy it anyway? I don't know. I mean, this may have riled up some people, but honestly, I don't give two fucks one way or another. If you like it, cool. If you don't, you can argue with me in the comment section down below. I won't respond to you, but this is my opinion, and it's just, I'm seeing so much of it on social media and I'm tired of it. It's honestly, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Move on. There's other games you could be playing. But yes, that's my 2 cents on it. So should you buy The Last of Us Part 1? That's not my place to decide for you. For me, I personally enjoy the game and love the upgrades to this in comparison to the original, and I think seeing this in motion instead of compressed YouTube videos or static images on social media goes a long way. So honestly, it's up to you. If you don't want to get this version of the game, then don't. You can always get the remastered version and experience the story, which is effectively the same story, for a lot cheaper. You can either be $20, which is the base price for the remastered version, or $10 if you catch it on sale, or if you got, any of the PlayStation plans is included with it. So you can play it effectively for free. You don't have to pay for this one. This is completely optional. If you want to get it, get it. If you don't, then don't. It's not that big of a deal. So in the end, you always have options, and that's the beauty of it. But all that being said, that's the review for The Last of Us Part 1. Hopefully there's some takeaways you guys can, take away from this and, from my opinion on it. And if not, if you don't like it, hey, you can say what you want to say. I probably won't respond if it's too hateful, because I honestly don't see, I'm not a drama person, and I don't see the necessary need to go on these trips. Like, a lot of people just take this too far. There are people I know, anytime there's a post about The Last of Us Part 1, they're just constantly commenting, and it's like it's excessive. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and ding the notification bell. If you want to pick up a copy of The Last of Us Part 1, there will be affiliate links down in the description down below. Outside of that, follow me on social media, and if you want to support further, we do have channel memberships, as well as Patreon, as well as merch. So go check us out on, Patreon channel memberships, and Teespring and Tpublic. The links for everything is down in the description below. All that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hope you stay safe, be blessed, have some aloha, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Let them know that I'm next level. I'm a whole new kind of guy. Yeah. Yes, at the top spot in case you forgot.